House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and former West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin join us now. It's so good to have you.
Yes.
The Wall Street Journal said
y'all.
this, that the socialist threat is real, not a fluke, saying that New York and other cities will decay further. More productive citizens will vote with their feet. Vagrants and criminals will overtake more public spaces. Social service costs will explode and the schools will deteriorate further. If mainstream Democrats don't retake their party, you may not recognize America the next time it wins a national election. That was by Mark Penn and Andrew Stein. Kind of pretty stark terms, but are those warranted?
I believe they are. When we see what's happening around the country today, I think and Kevin and I were talking about this earlier, I think it diminishes the Democrats' chance of taking over the House now. I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion they might have a strong opportunity to take over the House. It's in play again. I think the Senate will still stay in the Republicans' hands. This is not playing well. This is not who Democrats really are.
Is that what you hear back home?
Back home, people that were Democrats before that changed to becoming Republican, and most of them changed to be independents, like myself. It sets you free, open up. It's happy, it makes everybody happy. But, you know, when you're, one of the alienable rights in the Constitution is the right to pursuit of happiness. If your happiness is to denigrate this country, to flag and talk about how horrible the country is, you know, you're living in a country that gives you that opportunity because of the Constitution. That is not who you are, and you should not pick a party and think you're using the party system. The parties are designed to control. And what happened is both of the extremes, whether it be MAGA far right, and whether it be now, which was started out as liberals, to the progressives, now to the DSAs, if that's what they want and that's where they're going right now, they're not going to be able to be in mainstream America. Open the parties up, open the primaries up, and you won't get these extreme candidates.
Seems like this has been a 10-year trend, and maybe it's coming to the top of the mountain. What do you think about that?
You have more than 200 Democrats in America elected to offices under a socialist, Democrat socialist. They just won again in Colorado. This isn't something that's just maybe popping up in New York, but you have to understand how powerful it was in New York. The Democratic biggest leaders are from New York. Hakeem Jeffries. So they won in his hometown. They beat incumbents, which are almost impossible to do. And it really shows the Democratic leadership is so weak. That's why the socialist wing is stronger, and they're continuing to win. They're going to have new leadership to actually stop this. And I agree with the senator.
Can they stop this?
They can, because if you talk about tell me one place in the world socialism has ever worked. We're celebrating 250 years of the greatest experiment in self-government in the entire world. It goes against everything the founders thought in this process. It takes strong leadership to stand up. Even though Nancy Pelosi is very liberal, she would have stopped the socialist wing of the party from growing. It's the leadership is so weak, so there's a window for them to actually win, and they're doing it.
I want to play for you here. This is the New York City DSA co-chair on the plan for the Democratic Party, right? There's a target of opportunity for them. Watch here.
Ultimately, you're right that Democratic Socialists are a small minority in any legislature that they're in. And so it's essential to be able to welcome people who don't agree with us on everything to build a coalition. We taxed the rich in 2021. We've passed major climate legislation. We want to do that at the congressional level as well. It takes coalition building to do that. But on the other hand, we're not going to compromise some of our core values.
One thing I found about them, Senator, is that they say a lot of words. Okay, like the word count, they're not worried about that, but they don't land in terms of actual policies. But that doesn't mean that they don't actually have core principles that he's talking about. Like, they want your wealth. They want to end Western civilization. They want to abolish ICE. They want to get rid of prisons. Like, this is a wholesale difference.
That's not going to happen. I've said
but when you
but
when you listen to them, that's not what they're saying. They try to sound so reasonable.
They're using the Democratic Party. That's all they have.
Yeah.
That's their vehicle. That's what Bernie has used. Bernie didn't want to run as a Democrat socialist. He wanted to run as a socialist when he ran for president. But he had to have the Democratic ticket to get on the ticket. So anything I have said is I said, do not allow that. 17 states basically have closed primaries. In 17 states, there's 30 million independents that are disenfranchised, cannot vote. You can't go and vote because you're not a Democrat or Republican. This is what's got to change. If you want to change and mix the system up, that's the only way I see of doing it. Because right now it won't work. They are in control, and they have taken over the control of both parties, extreme right and left, and basically said, listen, we'll use your model, and we'll get more people out because we get them enthused and more organized better. And that's what they're working on.
What he described in that soundbite is a small minority in the legislature. It is small.
loud.
Loud, with a big megaphone and a big voice. Like in New York, the state assembly has 241 members on the House and Senate side. Of those 241, 9 are members of the DSA. So your point's well taken, but they're taking all the oxygen in
Think of this. If you ask who's the leader of the Democratic Party, AOC and Mandani. They just had an interesting story where they knew what they were going to do on endorsements when no one else knew, and they're beating 30-year incumbents. Yeah. And they're winning where the Democratic leader, the strongest elected Democrat in his hometown, and even though he endorses the other way, he has home field advantage, and it's an incumbent. It's usually the easiest thing to do, and they're beating him. And Mandani is smiling as he's doing it, but he's dangerous in what he's doing.
Can I ask you one last question? Do you believe that there is foreign money influencing the campaigns on the DSA side?
It was a very interesting hearing they had in the House with Act Blue, that it really looks as though that could be the case. They can't trace where it was coming. What Style has done in that hearing, I think really you should have a show on it.
And let me just say one thing. If Democrats are basically looking at they don't want police and they don't want secured borders, they don't believe in capitalism, that's not the Democratic Party that I knew all my life.
No, I know.
And if they're letting it take it over, they're not speaking up. And as Kevin said, if leaders don't become leaders and says, this is not our party, form your own party. Form your DSA party and let the Democrat be the good Democrat
if they can do
party.
that.
Grand Party, GPO, GOP be the GOP.
Are you going to be on your houseboat for the fireworks tomorrow night?
I'm going to be on top of it watching it.
Okay.
I am, absolutely.
Right?
Thank you. I'm going to watch it.
Joe Manchin, great to see you. Kevin, thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.